Hello, fellow Rotarians. I'm Cedric Hill, and it's my distinct honor to serve as your club's president for the Rotary year 2022-2023. As we move into the next year with the challenges our world faces, I'd like to call us to be a club of even more action, impacting our community, nation, and world with the same fierceness and intention Rotary has always exhibited. Thank you for your service to Rotary. This is our home club. To the community and world that we face, let's together imagine Rotary. Let's try that again. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to our, is there an echo there? August 24th, Rotary Club of Columbus lunch meeting. My name is Cedric Hill, and I'm elated to be the president of this club for this upcoming year. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to call on Brother Adrian Chester to come and give us invocation according to his faith tradition.
Let us pray. God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, you've been our shelter from life's stormy blast, and you are our eternal home. We thank you for this day and the blessings and mercies in which you have granted unto each of us to be your light in this world. So God, as we hear our program today, we ask that our hearts be inspired and our spirits be renewed to imagine a world that is your reflection. Thank you for the meal. Thank you for those who serve us today. And as we have been served today, we ask for the power, insight, resources, and strategy to leave this place to go and serve others. It's in the strong but sweet name of Jesus the Christ we do pray. And we all said, amen. As you go to your seats, don't forget the cans that goes to our Feed the Hungry program, as we will be distributing those funds in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you for expounding on that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And we'd like to call on Ms. Angelica Rozadowski to come and introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. We'll give her our attention.
Thank you, President Cedric. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you our visitors and guests today. If you please, you will stand when I call your name so we can recognize you. And we have a long list of guests, and bear with me. Rotarian Curtis Winston is visiting us from Decatur Club. He is the president of the Georgia chapter of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. And Mr. Curtis, where are you? That way we can recognize you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And he will be really happy to meet with you after the meeting. Rotarian Julio Portillo has a guest, Maggie Pavilo. She's the host mom for Laury. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Julie Vaughn has Sebastian Villa and Natalia Mira. Sebastian is the former GRSP student of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Sebastian, and where are you? Thank you. And with his wife, Natalia Mira. They are from Colombia. Okay, Michael Dehaney, Rotarian Michael Dehaney, has Stephen Huff. He is the business associate of Michael Dehaney. Thank you. Adrian Chester has his mom, Tornell Bogner, if I say right her last name. Tyler Townsend has Ken Townsend. He is a GRSVP and trustee. He's his dad. Ben Taylor has Cindy Guzman with Coldwell Banker. And Alston Lyle has Cal Ganech with Bershal Hathaway. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you.
Absolutely. Let's give our... Just like to re-welcome our visiting Rotarians and guests to our meeting today, and we invite you to come back and be with us and share with us as we go through our Rotary process this year. Each week, we recognize a military guest or soldier in recognition of our profound club member, Colonel Ralph Puckett. Many of us in the club know Puckett. So at this point, I call on Michael Tullier to introduce our Soldier of the Week, if you would.
Thank you, President Cedric. We have the honor and privilege today of hosting First Lieutenant Emmett Dunham, who is with us today and is a unit public affairs representative for the 198th Infantry Training Brigade. He's a graduate of West Point, was commissioned at the U.S. Military Academy, and actually comes to the military with a background in electrical engineering, has a degree from there. He went on to complete the Infantry Basic Officer Leader course at Fort Benning. His first station assignment was at Fort Wainwright, Alaska, so from the south to Alaska, where he was a rifle platoon leader there. He eventually came back to Fort Benning here in Columbus, and is now working with the 198th Infantry Training Brigade. He also volunteered, of course, for his position as brigade's unit public affairs representative. He has attended the Airborne School, the Air Assault School, and has earned the Expert Infantry Badge, the Army Commendation Medal, and the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge. He actually follows his father into the military. His father was an Army surgeon for 22 years and retired as colonel in 2020. So in addition to electrical engineering, we talked a little bit about his interest in robotics. So I got to plug the Columbus State University robotics program. If any of you haven't checked out the cool toys there, please come by. But we also talked shop a little bit since both of us work in the field of communication. So today, in recognition of your visit here, we have a certificate for you naming you as the Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. Soldier of the Week. We have a passport to the arts, which includes admissions for you and a guest to venues like the River Center, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the National Infantry Museum, the Springer, as well as the theater department at Columbus State University. So there you go. And most importantly, we have a copy of Colonel Ralph Puckett's book, Words for Warriors. It is actually dedicated today by fellow Rotarian Judy Thomas, who has dedicated this book actually to Colonel Ralph Puckett. So you have a book by Ralph Puckett dedicated to Ralph Puckett. So we hope you will enjoy that. And I know in true communicator style, Lieutenant Dunham was going to say a few words. So we'll turn the microphone to you.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a moment, say thank you for your continued support of Fort Benning. Mr. Nuremberg was just telling me about the history of this chapter all the way from back when it was Camp Benning. So as a public affairs guy, I just wanted to plug Fort Benning is always looking for opportunities to interact with the community, whether it's community service or events hosting, just to have a presence in. So whoever coordinates with getting people like me here, they have my contact info, and if anybody here has any events or support they want to work with Fort Benning on, please feel free to reach out to me, and thank you again.
Thank you. First Lieutenant Dunham, we'd just like to re-welcome you to the club, and we just ask that you would take back to your comrades at Fort Benning how much we appreciate the service you guys render to our country, our nation, and to your families. And again, we thank you and welcome you and invite you to come back and join us. Let's give him another hand. At this point, I'd like to call on Ms. Rebecca Nix, if you would come, and she'll present some checks, I think, from the Children's Fund.
Well, it's always fun to give away money. So thank you to each of you who make contributions on your birthdays. It makes a big difference. This year, the club raised $6,365. So thank you. And please continue to give gifts on your birthdays because it makes a big difference. And there's lots of organizations, as you all know, in our community who work with children and have some really amazing projects that we can help support. I also want to take a minute and thank the committee, of course, Meredith King, who's helping pass out the checks today, but also Belva Dorsey, Melanie Grace, Sue O'Kelly, and Martha Ann Todd. We had 13 organizations apply for funding this year, and the committee has selected 8, which are represented here today, so we will get started on passing out the checks. So first we have the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, which is represented by Finance Director Heather Grover. The funds will be used to expand their Making Music Matters program. Making Music Matters is a program in which Columbus Symphony Orchestra musicians provide free after-school group music instruction to elementary-aged children at 4 Title I funded Muskogee County schools. They meet twice a week during the academic year with 122 children participating. So, congratulations. Next, we have Juan Osorio, who is the executive for the Boy Scouts of America Chattahoochee Council. He is receiving the funds which will allow 6 children in our community to participate in scouting. The Chattahoochee Council provides approximately $250 per scout in need annually to defray the cost associated with membership. Next, we have Victory Mission, which is represented by Dr. Howard Hooper. He's the Minister of Mission Engagement at First Baptist Church. The funding from the Rotary Club will be used to purchase a series of educational games to be used weekly with up to 40 reading buddies and for those in next year's summer reading camp. Games are focused on math and reading for kindergarten through 5th grade. Director of Development, Caitlin Malone, is receiving the funds for the Boys and Girls Club at Chattahoochee Valley. The money will be used to enhance their college and career readiness program. The program is aimed at ensuring members are equipped with the skills needed to graduate on time with a plan for the future and access to experiences that enable them to make well-rounded decisions. Next, we have the Columbus Museum, which is represented by Kristen Hudson, Director of Marketing and Public Relations. Their funds will be used for the museum's partnership with the Department of Juvenile Justice. And during the 22-23 school year, the museum will expand its ongoing program to include a monthly art-making session in addition to field trips for youth in the justice system. Every month, the museum's community outreach coordinator will visit with each location to lead a lesson that is designed to encourage cognitive, social, emotional, and creative development. The proposed program will serve 60 students across 3 locations. Next, we have the Junior League of Columbus, represented by current president Camilla McCoy. The league will use the funds to support their diaper bank, which aims to eliminate diaper need in our local community by collecting and distributing diapers and wipes to families in need. Since the inception of the diaper bank in 2017, the league has given over 200,000 diapers. Diapers and wipes are distributed through 15 local agencies. Next, we have Easter Seals of West Georgia, which is represented by President CEO Sharon Borger. The funds will assist in purchasing an egg pod chair, which is a sound-canceling chair for children ages 5 to 12. The chair is made in such a way that it cancels all ambient noise and improves emotional, physical, and overall well-being for children with sensory integration disorder. And finally, we have Enrichment Services Program Incorporated, which is represented by Education Manager Sabrina Stevens. Funds will be used to purchase a variety of books that will be placed in their pre-K classrooms for all children to utilize. This will benefit approximately 80 children. By providing books in the classrooms and exposing children to a variety of age-appropriate books, this will increase their reading and vocabulary skills. So please join me in congratulating these organizations. Each of the organizations are making a short video, so you'll be able to learn more about the projects that we are supporting in the weeks ahead. So thank you for your contributions for making this possible.
I'd just like to say to each of you all, thank you so much for the contributions that you make to our community. And it's our honor to be able to provide some small way, some assistance for you in the things that you're doing. Let's give them another great hand for the things that they're doing. Any of you all would like to say anything? No pressure? Let's celebrate them again. Let's give them a hand again. You may be seated. We have just a few announcements. Tomorrow will be our in-person happy hour mix over at Cannon and Brew, which is on Broadway, from 5:30 until 7. We ask that you would come and fellowship with fellow Rotarians there. It'll serve as a makeup, of course, and you can bring friends and family. Don't forget, on the back tables, we're still receiving nominations from the Feed the Hungry. When Pastor Chester was up a few minutes ago, he was talking about giving to the cans. That money is basically classified through Feed the Hungry, and it's also distributed to local entities that provide services in our community. So if you know of someone that would be blessed by receiving some of that, we ask that you would nominate them in the back itself. At this point, I'd like to introduce Julio Patillo, if you would come, and he will share with us today our program. Julio, if you would come.
Thank you, President Cedric and fellow Rotarians. It is my great pleasure to formally welcome to our club our GRSP student for this year, Laury Petit, who is joining us from France. Laury, welcome. We are very excited to have you here. As part of her being here, she has also brought the Pontoise Club banner from France, which we will proudly hang on our banner wall here as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, 22 years ago, I was an international student about the same time as Laury joined CSU. Laury is joining CSU. Back then, when I was a student from El Salvador at CSU, there were 3 reasons why you would be a foreign student here. You were a music student, you were an athlete, you were playing tennis, golf, or cross country, or you were a GRSP student. And then, of course, there was me there in the mix. We built great friendships, lifelong friendships. We had many things in common except for one thing, and that was that I was the only one paying for his tuition outright. So, but back then, I had firsthand, I was able to witness the impact that GRSP has on the lives of all of us international students. Actually, my first Thanksgiving that I spent in the U.S. Was with Clark and Barbara Gillette, who at the point were host parents to a student from Honduras. And they invited the student from Honduras along with 5 others, including me, and we had our first official Thanksgiving there. So needless to say, I truly felt connected with the program. So when the time came here in Rotary to find an area where to serve, the GRSP program just felt like a natural fit. Maggie, my wife Maggie, and I are truly delighted and honored to be able to be Laury's host family this year. The few weeks she's been here, we have learned a lot about France, and we hope that she can learn just as much. She gets 2 for 1. She gets to learn about a culture from El Salvador as much as she gets to learn American culture at our house. So Laury, please know that it is our honor and pleasure to have you, and you have a great family here amongst all your Rotarians. So please join me in welcome Laury.
So, as you know, my name is Laury and I'm from France. I was born in a small city called Paris, but I was raised in Cergy, a little more than an hour away northwest of Paris. I lived there for 17 years before we moved to Vauréal, the city. Oh, I have some pictures of. So this is Sergi, and I lived there for 17 years before we moved to Vauréal, which is the city right next door, which was closer to my high school. Vauréal is 3 times smaller than Sergi and a lot prettier. I love growing up in Sergi because all of my friends live close, so we were always playing at each other's houses or at the park. I graduated high school in 2019 with a scientific baccalaureate, which means a lot of mathematics, chemistry, and biology, but not a lot of English. After that, I attended the University of Sergi, where I received a degree in business. And this year we studied criminal justice, and I'm really enjoying the classes so far. So even though my host parents have 4 dogs, I'm more of a cat person, and we had our cats when we moved to Vauréal, and it's really the cutest ginger cat. There's a lot of things that I enjoy doing during my free time, including going on a walk with my cat, because he loves to follow me around the neighborhood. I also enjoy to read, listen to music, sew, and spend time with my friends. While growing up, I tried a lot of things before I found the sport that I really love doing, dance. And modern jazz is the type of dance that I did for the longest, since I was 4 years old, but I also did some years of hip-hop. Speaking about sports, I know that you all love to watch football. I had the chance to see you talking about your favorite teams 3 weeks ago, but I have to confess that for me, the real football is and will forever be soccer. I'm sure that my dad would agree with me if he was here, because this is something we love to watch together. Going to the games and chanting our team song is one of my favorite things to do with him, next to singing every kind of song in the car. So my dad is a pre-sale engineer for a Japanese company named Rizzo, the world's #1 digital duplicator brand. Football or soccer, that's nothing my stepdad will agree with. For him, the real football is rugby. He used to play for fun, and I also enjoy going to the rugby games with him and my mom. My stepdad is like my second dad. He has been in my life since I was a child. He's a volunteer firefighter and an art teacher in a high school in Paris. My mom is not as interested in football. She was a badminton player, and she works at ESSEC Business School as a payroll manager. To continue about my family, I'll talk about my 2 brothers. The youngest one is actually 20 like me. He was born in June 2002, and the oldest one is 24. He was born in May 1998, the year when France won the Soccer World Cup for the first time. Both of my brothers are into music. The oldest one can play a song on the piano or the guitar just by listening to it one time, and the youngest is doing music for some famous rappers in France. My friends are also really talented in so many things, and I love to spend time with them, even more when we're in Paris. Right now, one of them is in Canada, and another one is in South Korea. Paris is one of my favorite cities. I really enjoy going to the museum or going to my favorite bookshops to buy book and read it at the tourist garden. Something I also really love to do is going to watch musicals, and that's something I share with my mom for as long as I can remember. And recently, I had the chance to go to the opera to see a ballet, and it was magical. Now that I talk about Paris, I'd like to talk about Corsica, a French island near Italy. Most of my family lives there, and I have visited Corsica every summer since I was a child. This island has a lot to offer, from the mountain to the sea. There's a lot of beautiful island places to swim, but there is also a lot of hiking spots. Actually, there is the GR20, which is a hiking trail that traverses the island diagonally from the northwest to the southeast. The trail is 200 kilometers long, which is the equivalent of 124 miles, and the total elevation gain is 41,900 feet. It takes approximately 15 days to go through the whole trail, and it is one of the hardest in Europe. On a funnier note, while in Corsica, you never really know when you will arrive when you take the car. At any moment, cows, boar, or goats can cross the road, and you have to wait until they're done. Cows are also really comfortable by the sea, as you can see on these pictures. There is a lot of old towns with people that have been there forever. My great-grandfather was in the military as a policeman, so my family used to move a lot. My grandmother and her sibling were born in Tunisia, but they grew up in different little towns in Corsica, and one was so high in the mountain that a helicopter has to deliver the groceries during winter because there was too much snow. They ended up moving to the continent, which is what France is usually called in Corsica, because even though it's a French island, they would love to be independent, which I don't think is a good idea. Corsica is a place where I feel the best and the safest, and I really love their chanting French accent. But I can't just say that about Paris. It is hard to describe a city that you already know without repeating things that you may have already heard. I really love the architecture of the big buildings, and I absolutely love the Eiffel Tower, especially at nighttime when she's shining. The Eiffel Tower is repainted every 7 years, but never in the same color. Something else that I truly love about France is the food. And you can find a lot of good restaurants in Paris, and I really miss baguette, croissant, cheeses, and charcuterie. Studying in the US has always been one of my goals. I feel very fortunate to have this great opportunity, and I am very grateful to the Rotary Club of Columbus for allowing this dream to become a reality. And since my arrival in Columbus, everyone has been very kind and welcoming, not like the people in Paris. So I would like to say thanks to all of you and to my amazing American family. And I'd just like to add that I'm really interested in learning more about American culture, so I gladly accept any invitation to attend my first ever football game. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Well, I've got a question. Merci beaucoup. With your science background and then your business background, what motivated you to choose criminal justice?
In France, I will not be able to study criminal justice, so I thought that this really was a great opportunity to discover a new area. So yeah, that's why.
Would there be other questions that we kind of sort of put it out? Any other questions that you all will have, Laury?
You mentioned the food that you enjoyed in Paris. What food have you enjoyed here since you've been here?
I mean, every food is great too. I love every food here.
I think it was another hand somewhere. Was there another hand? No? Okay.
I know the correct answer. It's Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. No other questions? Okay. Let's give Laury a hand. You know, as it was stated when Ian first introduced her to us and brought her into the club, just give consideration to things that you're doing in your schedule that you can invite her to be a part of. So if you've got some type of a vacation coming, or as Ian said, his retirement home and different things like that, if you've got something that you felt like, even a Chick-fil-A, something that you would be able to share with her that would be a part of the culture of our country and customs, if you will, of some of the things that you all may participate in. Invite her to be a part of that. And I think you'll be richly blessed for doing it. I know she will be. I know it's a little daunting to speak to this group, but they're friendly people. They are. They really are. We just like to re-welcome our visiting Rotarians and guests today. Of course, we'd like to re-welcome our military guests. Thank you for coming and being here. And just acknowledge our head table. Reverend Adrian Chester gave us our invocation. Julio is the host family for Ms. Laury, and we certainly appreciate that. Just a reminder, today's program, you'll be able to see it again on our Facebook page and on YouTube. And next week's program, our district governor, George Grande, will be here. And at this point, we'd like to call Reverend Chester back up because we'd like to close each meeting that we have with a reminder of who we are as Rotarians by giving our four-way test. So if you would stand with me as Reverend Chester comes.
In the Christian tradition, before worship ends, a blessing is pronounced upon the people as we know it as a benediction. But as we leave this place today, taking into consideration our theme for Rotary this year, Imagine Rotary, let us reimagine our world through the lens of our four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it build goodwill and better relationships?
fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Chester. If there's no further business, our meeting stands adjourned. You get it.